Hello everybody, it's me, the real king of BC. Today I'm actually going to be talking about fan service. Now, fan service in general has always been an interesting topic no matter who you talk to, but I just want to give my thoughts on it. Now, for me, fan service can either be a good or a bad thing. Sometimes it is actually done pretty well. Sometimes it's not done so well. It really does depend on how you use it. It's not inherently a good or a bad thing, it's just a thing. Um, Now, people have already talked about fan service before in the past, but they've most likely just talked about it in a not safe for work fashion, if you catch my drift. Um, yeah, I'm not going to be talking about fan service in that context. I'm going to be talking about it in a more nostalgia based context. And this is going to be very interesting because not really many people talk about fan service from a nostalgia perspective. Now, okay, nostalgia is. It can be a good thing or a bad thing, much like fan service. It's not automatically good or bad, it just depends on how you use it. However, I've noticed an interesting trend going on lately where old video games from the past and even old movies and old TV shows are coming back more often. Now, whether you think this is good or bad really depends. That's not the point, but people have been talking more and more often about nostalgia pandering. And what nostalgia pandering is just pandering to people's nostalgia. All flash and no substance, basically. You're just nostalgia baiting people just to take their money. Or just for views, or what have you. Right. In other words, there's nothing of substance here. It's literally just nostalgia and nothing else. Like unfiltered nostalgia, too. And at times unnecessary nostalgia, from what I can tell. This also depends on who you ask, but a decent amount of people seem to agree. But nostalgia pandering in itself actually is a bad thing, because like I said, it's just all flash with no substance. There's just nothing there. It's like if you ate a burger, but there's no burger, or lettuce, or tomatoes. It's just the bread. But to be more specific about this, I think video games like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge is actually a really good example of how to avoid this whole thing whatsoever. If you played that video game, you know that it's basically a celebration of the classic 1987 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, a classic TV show. Now, I have grown up with the Turtles, but I've grown up with the 2003 and the 2012 Turtles. Not so much the 87 Turtles, so I don't really have a whole lot of nostalgia for them, but I digress. My point is that that game is chock filled with nostalgia, but it actually has a lot of substance. It's a pretty good game, I must say. It's yeah, it's a pretty good game. I have not to say other than that. It uses nostalgia very well, very smartly, and it doesn't just use nostalgia as a crutch to get its fans money. The people who made it really did their homework, and it's clear that they were huge fans of the classic Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And maybe they were fans of the comic too, that came before the show, but I have no idea. I'm not entirely sure, I'm just guessing, but yeah. They clearly did their homework there. But yeah. However, not every video game necessarily does this well. I think a decent enough example of this is Super Mario 3D All-Stars. You can't really get that game anymore because Nintendo wanted a limited release for it, which I don't understand why, but yeah. It was basically 3 of Mario's 3D outings. There was Mario 64, Super Mario Galaxy, and of course Super Mario Sunshine. No Mario Galaxy 2 for some reason. No one's necessarily sure about why, but whatever. Anyway, it was 3D Mario games all in one package. However, it didn't really go over too well because from what I heard of, the remaster, while it wasn't necessarily terrible, or sorry, remaster. Actually, I guess it was a remaster and a collection at the same time, but it wasn't great necessarily, but it wasn't absolutely terrible either. Um, it did not go over greatly, but at the same time, it wasn't absolutely terrible either. But yeah, a lot of people, if I remember correctly, when they played Super Mario 64, they realized that it was still in the older ratio that the original game was, instead of having it be in a bigger, better aspect ratio that actually fit the modern times more, and a couple other issues other than the games just being limited. So it wasn't really much for a remaster from what I could tell. The games weren't bad, sure. They weren't It's not like they were terrible or rife with glitches. No, none of that, but it just should have been a better like collection slash remaster for older Mario games. Right now, that one's interesting because I'm not entirely sure if people have actually talked about nostalgia baiting with that one, but I guess you could argue that. I don't necessarily think it's specifically nostalgia bait, but I guess you could argue that it is. But yeah, you could also categorize that as fan service, by the way. Not great fan service, but I'd say it was decent fan service. However, Teenage Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, that was great fan service, I would definitely say. Um, but yeah, like I said, there are good and bad ways to do fan service. Heck, sometimes fan service can literally just be either cameos or Easter eggs, right? Or, of course, girls in bikinis, or guys showing off their muscles, what have you. It really depends on whatever you're into or whatever the artist um, who's providing the fan service is into. It really doesn't matter that much. But yeah. I don't really have much of a high opinion on fan service, but I don't have a low opinion on fan service. If you do it well, then that's good. If you don't do it well, then oh well. Do better next time. But yeah. Just make sure when you're doing it, please don't nostalgia bait or put too many girls in bikinis or whatever into it. So yeah. Um, that's all I got for today. You can find all of my social media stuff in the description. Please check it. And if you want to continue supporting me, then please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This has been the Real King of BC. I'm going to be making more videos a bit more often. So, yeah. And I might just be on social media a bit more often too. So, yeah. Oh, and obviously don't forget to click that notification bell. But yeah, King out.